My grandpa is 84 years old. He has lived a long life full of experiences, and he has so much wisdom to share. He was an English teacher for over 40 years, and even now at his age, he loves to talk about the importance of learning English and living a good life. The last time I saw my grandpa, I didn't know it would be the last time. It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon, and I had come to visit him just like I always did. He was sitting in his favorite chair by the window, staring at the sky, lost in his own world. His old wrinkled hands rested on the armrests, and when he turned to look at me, his eyes held that same warmth they always had. "Ah, Ali," he said, smiling. "Come, sit with me. We have a lot to talk about." I pulled up a chair beside him, taking in the familiar scent of old books and the faint aroma of his favorite tea. He looked frail, thinner than before, but his voice was as steady as ever. "You know," he began, "people always ask me how to learn English, how to be fluent, how to be confident. And I always tell them the same thing. It's never just about English, it's about life." I listened as he spoke, the soft creases on his face deepening with each word. When I was a young teacher, I had a student who was too shy to speak. He feared mistakes like they were punishments. I told him, "Start small, but start now. One word, one phrase, one sentence a day. That's all it takes, and soon those small steps add up." Life is the same way. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now. Even if you're not ready, you'll learn as you go. He coughed softly, then smiled. "And mistakes? Oh, my dear boy, mistakes are our best teachers." I had another student who never spoke in class because he was afraid of getting laughed at. But one day I made him read out loud. He fumbled. The class laughed. But I told him, "You were brave for trying. Now you know what to fix." And from that day on, he stopped fearing mistakes and started learning from them. He paused and looked at me. "In life, you'll make mistakes too. Don't let them stop you. Learn from them and keep moving forward." I nodded, holding on to every word as if trying to etch them into my memory. "You must practice every day, Ali. Consistency is everything. If you want to learn English, practice, even 10 minutes a day. Read a book, listen to a song, talk to someone in English. The more you do it, the better you become. Just like watering a tree, do it every day, and it will grow strong. Neglect it, and it will wither away. Life is the same. If you want to be good at something, you must give it time." His eyes drifted toward the window for a moment before he continued. "And be curious, my boy. Ask questions. Always ask. When I was a teacher, I had a student who learned faster than the others. Not because she was smarter, but because she asked, 'Why? Why do we say it this way? What does this word mean?' Curiosity opens doors, Ali, in English and in life." He looked at me with a knowing expression. "And you must be open to learning from everyone and everything." I once learned a word from a little boy in the park, a simple, innocent moment, but it reminded me that knowledge is everywhere. It's in conversations, in books, in music, in people. Be open to it. His voice softened, and for a moment, I saw a glimmer of something in his eyes. Nostalgia, perhaps, or the weight of time. Learning takes patience. You won't master English overnight. You won't master anything overnight. Celebrate small victories. Don't be discouraged if progress is slow. Climbing a mountain is hard at first, but if you keep going, you'll reach the top. I watched him sip his tea, his hands trembling slightly. And what good is learning if you don't use it? Speak, write, think in English. Use what you learn. I had a student who studied for years but never spoke. When I finally asked him to, he struggled because he had never used what he learned. Don't let that happen to you, Ellie. Knowledge must be lived, not just memorized. A silence settled between us for a moment. Then he placed his hand over mine. Above all, never give up. Learning English, learning anything, even life itself, it will challenge you. There will be moments when you feel like quitting. But remember, failure is not the end. It's just a step towards success. I failed an English exam once. Can you believe that? I was devastated, but my teacher told me, don't give up. Failure is a lesson. And she was right. I swallowed the lump in my throat. I wanted to say something, to tell him how much his words meant to me, but he wasn't finished. And Ali, when you learn something, share it. Teach someone else. Teaching is the best way to learn. I once asked a student to help another with grammar. While teaching, he realized he had gaps in his own knowledge. Helping others helped him too. That is the beauty of learning. His eyes softened and he smiled. And finally, my dear boy, enjoy the process. Learning should be joyful. Read stories, watch movies, sing songs in English. Find the fun in it. A student of mine learned English just by singing along to songs she loved. She never even realized she was learning because she was having fun. And isn't that how life should be? He leaned back in his chair, his gaze far away now. Learning English, learning anything, living life, it's all the same. Start small, embrace mistakes, practice daily, stay curious, learn from everything, be patient, use what you know, never give up, help others, and above all, enjoy the journey. I stayed with him for hours that day, listening, laughing, memorizing every wrinkle on his face, every flicker of light in his eyes. I didn't know it would be the last time I saw him, but now when I think of him, I remember his words, his lessons, his wisdom, and I carry them with me every day in everything I do.